from a Canadian perspective, we generally believe in free trade. And I think the benefit, what we see the benefit of free trade being is every country that's engaged in free trade is able to exploit comparative advantages within trade. So you don't necessarily have to be a generalist, and you don't have to complete every aspect of the economic cycle. And so, like we were just talking about with, Canada or the United States gets from steel from Canada, where we produce the steel and ship it down, and then we get a finished product back. Both of those are unique processes, and you can get very good at one of them and have another country get very good at the other one, and you can both see advantages there by getting good at your particular thing. Now, in situations where tariffs are involved, that you lose that comparative advantage, and you have to rely on yourself to become an expert at everything. And I think that's one of the reasons that we've seen so much success with globalism, is because we have been able to exploit those comparative advantage over the last 80 years. So I think the challenge with the tariffs that are being implemented now is because it's reducing those comparative advantages, it makes everything very difficult and expensive, which is going to slow the development cycle. It's going to make deals that were possible now impossible because everything's going up. I mean, certain aspects of the construction cycle are going up 25%. And it's going to be more difficult to source product. I think it's going to has the potential to slow the delivery process from U.S. finished products, as well as in Canada, it's going to be very difficult to get products. So I think that's going to be the biggest challenge, is everything's just going to get more expensive. And when you introduce taxes into a system, there's only one person that pays for that additional cost, and that's the end consumer. And I think that's something that's often missed in this is, storage is already a very expensive product. And I don't think the operators are going to be willing to swallow the additional cost. And so I think it's going to be passed on to the consumer, which is ultimately going to shrink the market. And that's kind of the opposite of what I think a lot of us want to see. So I think that it's going to take time for this to filter through the market and giving it a lot of space. And I think that there's still a lot of room for rationality to come into play. I think right now we're seeing a lot of saber rattling, a lot of political saber rattling. I don't think that what we see right now is ultimately going to be, the reality that we're living with. But I think that we need patience, and I think that we need a level head as we work through this. And ultimately, I think that we all need to remember that the United States and Canada are friends, we are allies, and we share the longest unprotected border in the world. And that's something that, as a Canadian, that I really cherish. So hopefully rationality prevails.